Hey yo, this video is done right now on a different device than I usually use and front facing because I didn't expect to be making a video, but I'm up. So let's go, for lack of better words. Um, this is not an ASMR video. I should start there because, um, like, first of all, I don't feel like going through all of that with the equipment, but also because, as y'all can probably hear on the opposite side of the wall, my roommate is awake. And I'm also about like 90% sure that there's also like a man in here, but it is what it is. What y'all hear is what y'all hear. So I am going to be doing my makeup real quick, but also running y'all through things that I've learned since I started TikTok or just on my TikTok journey, whatever. I'll try to edit whatever sound happened on that side of the door out. So before I start though, content right now is kind of it's becoming a different journey. It's becoming like a nevertheless she persisted journey as opposed to what it was. Yeah, as opposed to like, I think inconveniencing the other people in my apartment, I've kind of decided to just film around their schedule. So I get up earlier, I do all this whatnot. So it started a couple healthy habits for me, but also started some like weird stuff, I guess. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm determined to not stop because of things going on around me. So here we are. Anyway, so things I've learned since I started Dear TikTok 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. Number one, do not depend on anyone. And what I mean by that is not necessarily like don't make friends, don't do anything like that, but do not let your ability to create or your desire to create to be hitched to any one specific person. Like, it feels weird to say on this side of the, like, creation, meaning like after I built the audience and whatnot, but there were definitely people that I know I wanted to create with, that I know like the journey would have been fun with, that I definitely had to let go because of the fact that they didn't. I am a person that, like, when I say I want to do something, I try to create an action plan. And there were people who like are super creative, and I'm like, I would have loved to, create with you or like to do things together. Like initially when I was doing content creation, when I was like expressed to my homies that I wanted to do it, it was something that I was doing like podcast out, something I was doing with a partner. And the truth is that like I wasn't the type of person to drag my feet, and they were. And that is what ended up, well, not necessarily me going like solo or anything like that, because I don't think it's that deep, but like just me deciding to do my thing and they do their thing. And unfortunately, I can see now, like based on, where we are and what we decided to do, that if I had waited on them, I would have never started. So there's that. So that's number one. So the first thing, do not depend on anyone else. Second, don't depend on anyone else for support. Do not let what you are doing or your desire to create to be hitched onto whether or not someone else is going to be like, you're cool, or you're like, like I really love this thing that you do. Because the truth is, so I'm from a small town, but I know it's this way pretty much everywhere else too. Sometimes, a lot of the time, people wait to support you until it's popular to support you. People want to be a part of like the success part. So they don't necessarily, stay around, not even stay around, but start being around. Like, do not anticipate or expect for the people that you are closest to, or the people that are in your town, the people that have actually seen you grow up, or been around you for real, to be the reason why your creation takes off. And I know that that sounds like backwards, not even backwards, but like kind of harsh, I guess. But the truth is, it's just the truth. Especially with small town or small school or anything, wherever you at. Um, People tend to like crabs in a bucket. Even if you, I done had some weird interactions with some people. And I mean, people that also, not necessarily they even like create, we just blending this out. Not necessarily they even like create, but they have like a business or something like that. Like, and when I say weird, I mean like shady interaction. And I think that's just because like some people genuinely can't deal with the thought of like other people shining in a thing. Like, especially like this small town, there's actively, I know for a fact that there's actively like a competition going on within like a couple different ones of like classes at my high school, but also a couple different people within each class that's like, I'm going to be the first one to make it. I'm going to be the first one from this small town to say, you know, that I put this on the map. And even though it ain't that deep to me, there are people that take it very seriously. So it's just like, yeah. So you can have beef with somebody who like has a clothing line, or with somebody who like, you know, makes one thing or another. And then on top of that, like if you branch out to something that they happen to also do, even if you wanted to do it a long time ago. Sorry, text message. Even if you wanted to do it a long time ago, like you deal with the, well, I started this and now they want to do it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so don't harp or don't depend on other people when it comes to that. Third, so I just said don't depend on people twice. Sorry, winning alarm. Third, don't take anything personally. Nothing. Um, Other people saying things negatively about your creation, other people sub posting, sub tweeting, sub like it. Do not take a single thing personally. Learn about projection, learn about how it works, and do an honest assessment of where you are in your life versus where the people are that are critiquing you. And it ain't even gotta get that deep to be real. Just ooh, my thing is, I don't take advice from many people. I don't take advice from nobody I don't trust. And I don't take criticism from anybody that I wouldn't take advice from. So, um, if they are not a person that is in your trusted people, the people that you have decided these are the people that have walked the walk that I've seen, then they walk the walk that I support. Don't trip. Do not trip about anything, because I guarantee you it's not that deep. Learn what projection is, know what it is, so that you can know when someone is projecting their own insecurity onto you. And don't take it personally also applies to like comments and things like that. I disagreed with someone, a male influencer. I'm gonna say his name, Kevin Samuels's opinions a long time ago. I made a joke that I can admit now was distasteful, but I got death threats. People wanted to take your girl out the game, or not necessarily wanted to take me out the game, because I don't think that many of them have the courage to do so, but were willing to threaten me, wanted to intimidate me out the game. And obviously it didn't work, but also you can't take it personally. You can't, because the truth is it'll be people, the likelihood that they really about that action is very slim, considering like people don't like jail, but also like, ooh, girl about loud did him up, but also like um you just can't stop. You just can't. I'm not really a person that believes in the whole like haters make you famous situation, because like why would you want to invite all that negative energy into your life? But at the same time, I gotta acknowledge that part of it is true, because the people that dislike you for real, are the people that will share your content. They'll share it more than people you know and expected to support you for real. And that's because of the fact that they want to drag you. They want everybody to know that they're dragging you. They want everybody to see that, you know, this person is not what I want. This person is not. And you'll go viral just off of that. So that was 3. 4, protect yourself. If you're a person who believes in spiritual things, if you're a person who understands that type of thing, or even if you're not, protect your mental health, protect yourself spiritually. Humans are not really designed, in my opinion, to be the famous in the way that it goes in front of us, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think humans are designed to have a bunch of people like focusing on them or anything like that. So it makes sense that when it happens and you have the pressure of all of these like hundreds of thousands of people on your back all of a sudden, especially if you're from like the hood or you're underprivileged or something like that and you never had, it makes sense that like your mental just kind of cracks. So protect yourself, and I mean, go to therapy, get resources if you need them, have a strong circle of people who support you personally, not just support your concept, but support you personally. And then decide who those people are, and don't necessarily be closed off to the possibility of more people, but kind of double down. Make sure you're there for the people that you want to be there for you. I am not necessarily a no new friends person, but I have a really solid circle. It make in my a circle that's really solid. In addition to being really solid, will defend me in the way that I am willing to defend them, and that's what it is. Like, I would never ask them to do no like personal defending, nothing like that. But when it comes to like actual locals, like people in town, people that are like, if they were to say anything, I don't have to worry about the people that are in my circle right now being disloyal, or like I've never had a situation where I was talking to somebody personally about an idea or something I wanted to create or whatever, and that idea ended up somewhere, or that idea, you know what I mean, whatever. Like, there's no worry about disloyalty for real, for real. So that's your next thing. I feel like after you become a creator, you do all this whatnot, blah 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 blah. You need to make sure that everybody that's around you is, for you for real. Was that number 5? Was that number 6? Who knows? I'm gonna just say 6. 6, which kind of harps on the last one. Number 6 is, do not be slow to get rid of people that you realize are not for you. Um, when you become an influencer, or when you start doing content, anything like that, you learn a lot really quickly about how people consume art, or about how people consume generally, and entitlement, and what makes someone feel entitled to something. For me, I think one of the things that like blew my mind when I first started, before I realized that you can't take everything personal, was like local rappers, people that like we definitely been to school together. I've been creating for 2 years. They've been rapping for however long they've been rapping. Our paths have never really intersected, not because they couldn't, but because they just didn't. Like, I'm creating, you doing your music. I may have listened to your music, but you didn't never, share my content, do nothing like that. Nothing like that. And I was getting like messages, like the long time ago, hey, what's up? Messages. Like, we're familiar, so I feel like I'm comfortable to ask you for a favor. And it was stuff like, will you please put my songs in the back of your TikToks? Or will you please? And it was just like, it's a lot of nerve. And I think that you need to make sure that people around you are not like that. Like, there's a difference between like you being cool with somebody and they working on something and you working on something and you like, yeah, I'm willing to, share your thing. Or if they being like, hey, you know what I mean? Because it's somebody that you already been supporting. Like, there's already a relationship established. It's very different for somebody who ain't never supported you, or somebody who you can kind of tell the love is not real, for real, for real. To just straight up be like, hey, can I use you for promo? For free? Don't do that. So I think I said 6, 7. Don't do anything for free. That's the next one. Don't do anything for free. And don't let anyone disrespect you. And what I mean by that is, especially when you start some content, when you have friends or acquaintances, because they're not really your friends, who my bracelet is jingling, but people who also work on their own business and they want you to promote them or do work for them. It has always been my thought process that if it's a business of someone that you know, you should almost take it more seriously than the big corporations, than the, you know what I mean, the designer brands, than the, you know what I mean, all of that. If my friend has a business, I should want to invest in my friend. So I should want to pay their full prices, because familial doesn't mean cheap. Familial doesn't mean lower quality. Familial doesn't, you know what I mean? So if you can't afford your friend's services, you shouldn't really be trying to like bargain for them. And bargain ain't even a problem though, for me personally, because life is hard, okay? We are struggling generally. Like, as a country, as a world, we just had a long pandemic. We're struggling. You know what I mean? I would work with literally anyone. Literally anyone. If you come to me and you're like, hey, you know what I mean? I know I don't have the resources or the whatnot as this big corporation that you may have done this work for, or I may not have the this or the that, but I would really love to work with you, and this is that, you know, can we arrange something? I'll be like, yeah, like, let's go. Because first of all, I want to work with everyone, but also because, I mean, it's just not that deep. You know what I mean? Like, I love working. I love content. I love, you know what I mean? So I don't have any problem doing something with you or for you, especially if I know you personally. That's a good cover. You know, to help promote your business, especially if you're somebody who showed me love. But there's a difference between I don't have all of this and we can't afford this other service that we deem more professional or that we deem more important to us. So we just gonna ask you, just you. Don't let anybody do that to you. Do not let anybody do that to you. And you can always tell. Also, I mean, next thing, but also same thing. Accept what people mean. What people say is what they mean, because they said what they mean. If it was really genuinely a situation where it was like, well, we can't afford this, so we want to ask you, you know, can we work out a thing, is one thing. But to be like, well, you know us, so don't charge us all of it. Don't charge you what I charge. Don't let anybody do that to you. Don't do it. Do not let anybody disrespect you. When it comes to that, you work just as hard for your content, if not even harder, than these big corporations. Because most of the time when you start out, you don't have employees. You don't have your content calendar was made by you. You sat there on your own. You edited on your own. A logo. You know, the amount of labor that goes into it. You doing the work of like 5 different people because you don't have the resources of one person that has more money or has more, you know, clout or whatever. So do not ever, ever, ever let anybody disrespect you in that way. Don't do that. I think this is 9. That was like 8, like 8.5, 9. Don't share your ideas with everybody. Don't do that. I know that right now, it's like, you know, I'm starting and you get really excited. But until you've gone through the number, like, what did I say, 4-5 steps, you don't need to be sharing your content or your ideas with everybody, because they will show up somewhere else. If y'all are on TikTok, you've seen a plethora of times that somebody had an idea, or somebody had, or something that even was like it could have been a fully fleshed out concept, and they shared it on TikTok just a little too early, before it was copywritten, before it was, one thing or another, and somebody else straight up copyright their idea, and they don't even have any ground to stand on when it comes to like the rights or the claim, because of the fact that, like, you put it on the internet, and what's on the internet is public, and you can't get rid of it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, this is blush. I do not put blush just directly on the like rosy area of my cheeks, because I am not a 65-year-old white woman. It don't make sense to just have this red here. I have the deep, like the sunken eyes, but the high cheekbones. So blush can go up here, bring a lift to the face, as opposed to right here, where I just look like Jigsaw. Okay, so next. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, don't share with everybody until you know for sure that the people you're sharing with got your best interest at heart. This is a bronzer that I'm just that has some like shine to it. So this I'll put on the rose of my cheek, just because it's like more of a glitter than it is a blush. All right. What's next? What? Highlighter. You know what? Let's do liner first. Anyway, so now that all of that is out the way, next thing, be consistent. I gotta laugh immediately because, like, the struggle. That's probably the worst one. That's one of the hardest ones, which is be consistent. Because you gotta find out what consistent means for you. Consistent for you could be every day of the week. Consistent for you could also mean, I think I got a hiccup, Monday through Friday. Consistent for you could also mean like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know what I mean? Tuesday, Thursday. Find out what works for you in your life, and then find a balance, because you got to be consistent, but you also need to take breaks, because the internet can really be draining. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I mess this up on camera. But yeah, the internet can be really draining, and you are the person who has to police what is draining for you. Self-awareness is a gift, and if you don't use it, people will abuse you. But also, the truth is, the internet is an environment where abuse is pretty much normalized. We and by we, I mean, not me, but we, as a humanity, I suppose. Let me shut up real quick. Okay, have kind of normalized an environment where disrespect is funny. Disrespect is like, it's popular. So that's why I feel like there are so many like influencers who whole shtick is like, or their niche is like reacting to someone's content that they made on their own, but just saying a negative thing, or just like roasts, or like, you know what I mean? Just like going out of their way to be disrespectful, but that's their entire thing. And then we go, they're a comedian. They're just a bully, but a comedian. And yeah, the internet feels very comfortable doing that, and they absolutely will. You will go viral for the wrong reasons. You will have people say negative things to you or whatever. That goes back to don't take it personally. Just like Don't protect yourself. Find out what's normal for you. Find out what's consistent for you, and then do that. Do you? I don't know what that was. Anyway, yes, I do. Dumpster, I think. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go a little further. One eye is always harder to do than the other one. And for me, that is definitely the left. My right is my dominant hand. Right is my dominant side for the most part. What even is that? To put that in context, it is 8:19 in the morning. And those are the sounds that are being made. Anyway, we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna complain too much. Next. And this one, it's kind of insensitive. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. But it's something I had to come to terms with. Decide what way you want to display your emotions on the interweb. Um, it's really unfortunate, but you almost have to have an influencer personality. Like, you are who you are off of the camera, but on camera, you are a different person, and people will come to expect that same person every time. So when you step out of that box, if you're not careful and if you display your emotions in a certain way, for example, we've all seen influencers who are like happy, 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 and then they go cry, 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 and sometimes it goes well. Like they have an episode where they get a little sad and they cry, and sometimes it's like it's okay. You know what I mean? People, the followers are like, cool. And other times they kind of hit you with like the shut up and dribble, like the you are displaying sadness, like real sadness, and they're just like, this is not the TikTok dance we wanted to see, so they don't care. Um, and that can be really invalidating, but also even easier to take personal because you just like, gee, I'm giving these people everything. I'm giving these people these content every day. I'm scheduling my life around these people. And the one time I have a moment or my emotions, anything like that, they drag me, you know what I mean, through the mud. But you kind of got to suck it up because that's the internet. And you, one individual, will not win against the whole internet. It's not possible, especially as a beginning influencer. Now, as a bigger influencer, as someone, one of the like, I almost said a celebrity name. I'm trying to stop doing that. Like one of the like bigger influencers whose like opinion definitely matters to a lot of people, but they don't really have any talent. Then you might win against the internet. But down here, no. So you kind of have to decide. When I am upset with someone, when I am upset with the viewer, with the commenter, with the whatnot, do I react at all? Do I react by doing a clever voiceover thing? Do I react by making new content? Do I react by just being myself? Do I not react? You know what I mean? Do I react by blocking people? And then being aware that, like, even with that, you will still have people who feel one way or another about the way you chose to react. If you block people, sometimes, especially like if you become like a bigger celebrity, when you block people, they go, well, they must have been offended, this is that, and they didn't like what I said, as opposed to they're a human, a person who gets to decide who they do and don't want to interact with. um I feel like there's almost like a timer that starts when you become an influencer. and like goes further and further, or like loses more and more time when you become a celebrity. And that timer is like, it's like a countdown to when you lose the rest of your humanity, if that makes sense. Because we've obviously seen multiple times, different times, when a celebrity was going through something. I mean, the emotions, going through it, losing it, having a breakdown, and the internet is still following them. Oh my God. Got to see it through. The paparazzi is doing what they do, which is trying to get a story. Britney Spears had people jumping out of bushes. You know what I mean? Like, then we wonder, we question why people snap for real. And what's funny is that you also have people who, like, not necessarily like disrespect you directly, but like just start to discount your opinion. And it could be people that you had was in the same projects with, the same hood, the same whatever. And once you start coming up, all of a sudden it's like a countdown to when people no longer see you. People that you walk beside your whole life no longer find you relatable, because they're like, well, you have this thing, so you can't be struggling with anything. Why would you be struggling? Especially if it's money. Like, you're rich. What are your mental health concerns? Like, what are you know what I mean? And it's real dehumanizing work. So one thing that I decided, or I've decided now, it's basically, is that my approach is always going to be like a one and done, like a clever, get my lick back thing, or it's gonna be not at all. As a influencer, celebrity person, from what I've observed, obviously because I'm not there yet, you got to choose and then stick to it. It's like, I feel like the celebrities that people see the most and think of as like, these people are relatable, these people are still humans, essentially, that deserve empathy, are the ones who show up and then they disappear. Like, they show up, they do their work, and then you don't see them. They in the house, they in the whatnot. You know what I mean? They live in a real personal life, and in order to, because they understood that in order to have a real personal life, they had to stay out the streets, essentially. Everybody else, all of their businesses everywhere. I mean, like, this person was seen at this restaurant with this celebrity. Maybe they date, maybe they do this. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, everything becomes so much deeper than it actually is. But yeah, that's about all I had. I'm gonna finish up this liner and show back up when I got the look done so y'all can see it before I get from in front of y'all. All right, we are about done with the look. But I have one more thing, and that is to never forget that you are the content. You yourself are the content. Do not ever fall into the trap that says, I need to have this accomplished, or I need to do this, or I need to have this editing style. I need to. You don't. You don't. You just don't. Look at the state of Hollywood. Don't think that you have to have a specific talent. Don't think that you need to be talking about things that are 100% original every single time. Don't do it. The whole concept of a talk show, most of the time, is talking about stuff that already happened. What is going on in your life? What's going on in your life, celebrity? What is that? You know what I mean? The concept of a celebrity doesn't even imply that it has specific talent. It's not an artist. When you see artist, you think you create art. When you see construction worker, you do construction. You know what I mean? Celebrity is a general umbrella term for someone who was well known. And it don't really matter what they're well known at. You are the content. You are the thing that people need to see. Yes, we've heard people talk about makeup over and over again. We ain't heard you talk about it. Your personality is the shining thing that is going to take this concept from a regular boring thing to something everybody want to see. It's you. So don't fall into any traps that say anything otherwise. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely day. It is now 8:35 in the morning. I'm almost positive. I don't know if it's my roommates or somebody else's roommates in this building are arguing outside. I think I heard a man call a woman the B word. I hope it's not my roommates. I know what's my business and what's not. I know who it could be and who it couldn't. So, that being said again, I hope you have a lovely day. See y'all again probably in the morning. Goodbye.